EHEDG is the global community in hygienic design for and by food industry professionals. This is reflected by the strong engagement of these professionals in the EHEDG working groups that develop the EHEDG guidelines, the certification schemes, and the training and education offerings. The close relationship between the EHEDG organization and the food industry is also illustrated by the members of the EHEDG Advisory Board. This board ensures that the EHEDG activities are tightly aligned with the actual needs of the food industry. To ensure the continuity and diversity of this board, new members are elected into this board every 2 years, and we have 4 new members in the board now, and we're going to introduce them to you. And the first one is James Hartley, the Associate Director, Global Sanitation of Mondelēz International. That's a mouthful. James, people call you Jim?
Yeah, that's right, Jim.
Could you please introduce yourself and maybe say what Associate Director Global Sanitation does on a daily basis?
So really what my work involves, it's about leading a global team of hygienic design and sanitation specialists supporting our manufacturing and R&D base. And so really what we're responsible for is setting policy on sanitation program design, good manufacturing practice, pest control, and of course, hygienic design. So we provide expert guidance to facilities on the implementation of our policies. And a major part of my role, therefore, is working with quality, with R&D, engineering, manufacturing, food safety, and many others across the world to make sure that our current requirements are well understood and implemented, but also to work with these colleagues to develop where we go next, both on hygienic design compliance and also on performance.
Do you consider it to be your social responsibility to be part of this community?
So Mondelēz International, we've had a very long-standing and constructive relationship with EHEDG. So Matilda Freund, our Senior Director for Quality in Europe, is a past president of EHEDG. And there's many other members of Mondelēz who've made important contributions to working groups and guideline development over the years. So for us, food safety is a top priority, and the hygienic design of equipment and facilities is a prerequisite of this. So I think it's important to be able to bring the experience of a company the size of Mondelēz, who in the end is a customer of equipment manufacturers, to provide input into EHEDG. And in this way, we're representing an industry that all wants the same thing, which is to produce safe food and drink.
Mondelēz, of course, is a very big global multinational food processing company, and you have your own standards. Do you actually still apply the guidelines, for example, that EHEDG develops in your own practice?
Absolutely. So as a company, as you say, we're a large company. We've got over 100 manufacturing sites spread out across the world. But as a company, we use the insights and we use the guidelines of EHEDG when we're developing our global standards. So we have to consider the different requirements across the world as we're developing our policy requirements. And the EHEDG documents provide a really useful input into this policy development process.
You are a busy man, I presume. Why did you decide or agree to become an EHEDG Advisory Board member and, well, you know, put some time in this?
For me, I think EHEDG is an important organisation to help drive the continuous improvement of food safety standards through hygienic design, and that's fundamentally what my role is about. So as a major food manufacturer and a manufacturer that's got a long history of supporting EHEDG, I felt it was important coming into this role to continue that involvement, and also to demonstrate that Mondelēz remains committed to developing industry best practice in hygienic design. Mm-hmm. Now, Robin, in the end, we're a food processing manufacturers. We are the customer, and as a customer, if you don't say what you want, then it's very difficult for suppliers to truly understand your needs. And so, really, by being part of the EHEDG organisation, this gives me and us the opportunity to be clear about what our requirements are as end users.
Do you have a technical background yourself?
So my background, actually, I'm a chemist by training. So I did a degree and a PhD in chemistry before I started in the food manufacturing industry. So my background is more on the chemical side of things. But I'm very fortunate to work in a team where we have many experienced engineers, and in particular, my global hygienic engineering design lead, who also contributes to some of the EHEDG working groups, is a very experienced mechanical engineer. And so, I'm surrounded by talented people, and that's always helpful.
What ideas are you planning to bring into the organization? What's your vision of the role of EHEDG in the food industry and the food industry equipment supply chain?
In particular, one of the things that I'm passionate about is about raising the awareness and understanding of the importance of hygienic design and getting people enthusiastic about designing equipment in the right way. So in particular, I'm getting involved on that side of things. Sustainability is also a very important topic for us as an industry and for me as an individual. And so really working to develop the strategy, the EHEDG strategy around sustainability. So these are a couple of things which I'm in particular wanting to get involved with and to develop the EHEDG position.
Do you have any tips, general tips for equipment providers when it comes to approaching big companies like yours?
One of the advantages, I guess, of being within the EHEDG community is that because there are documented guidelines and major industry players use those guidelines as the basis, in fact, of their own policies, what that's really doing is it's really saying, well, these guidelines are the types of things that food manufacturers are going to be expecting of you as an equipment supplier. So it kind of gives you the inside track really into what big companies are looking for. So, in very simple terms, if you're looking at the EHEDG guidelines and you're taking those to heart and you're applying those in your processes, and your equipment is applying those guidance requirements, it's going to be a much more straightforward job to align your equipment with the requirements of a food manufacturing customer.
Thank you, Jim, for giving a little insight in your thinking. Really happy to have you here, and I'm sure the EHEDG community is also very pleased to have you as a new member in the board.
Great, thanks, Rob.